Hello, friends and family. Welcome back to Drop Ministries, where we drop nothing but the truth with love and grace. Today, we are going to discuss the strategy of divide and rule. Divide and conquer. I urge you all to be mindful of the divisive tricks often used by politicians to create discord among us. There's strength in our diversity. Our differences in religion or tribe are not the real issues. Corruption is. Let's focus on fighting corruption together. Let's watch this short history on divide and rule. Thank you.
Divide and rule is a sneaky tactic used by powerful groups to stay in control. It's like making people fight amongst themselves, so they're too busy to notice you're in charge. European empires, especially the British, used this a lot during colonialism. They made small differences between people seem huge. This caused distrust and made it easier for the empires to stay in power. Imagine a big, diverse country with lots of different groups. Instead of uniting, they're suspicious of each other, competing for power and resources. That's what divide and rule aims to do. This wasn't new. Empires have used it for centuries. But European colonialism used it on a massive scale, and its effects are still felt today. The British were masters at this. They would favor one group over another, giving them special privileges or access to resources. This created resentment and division, making it harder for the colonized people to unite and challenge British authority. It was a cynical but effective way of maintaining control over vast and diverse populations. The impact of divide and rule went far beyond the colonial era. It left a legacy of mistrust and conflict that continues to plague many former colonies. By understanding this tactic, we can better understand the challenges faced by post-colonial societies and work towards a more just and equitable world. Africa, with its immense diversity, was a prime target for the divide and rule strategy. European powers, scrambling for control of the continent, exploited existing ethnic and tribal differences to their advantage. They highlighted and exacerbated these divisions, turning communities against each other. For instance, in Rwanda, the Belgians favored the Tutsis over the Hutus. This created a hierarchy, with the Tutsis given preferential treatment and access to education and resources. This sowed the seeds of resentment that culminated in the horrific Rwandan genocide of 1994. Similarly, in Nigeria, the British lumped together diverse ethnic groups into a single colony, ignoring their historical differences and rivalries. This created tensions that persist to this day. The artificial borders drawn by colonial powers, often dividing communities and merging incompatible ones, continue to fuel conflict and instability across Africa. The legacy of divide and rule in Africa is a painful one. It has hampered national unity, fueled ethnic violence, and hindered economic development. It is a stark reminder of the devastating impact of colonialism and the need for reconciliation and healing. India, with its complex social and religious tapestry, presented another fertile ground for the British policy of divide and rule. The British exploited religious differences between Hindus and Muslims, sowing discord and mistrust between these communities. They often favored one group over the other, playing on existing prejudices and stereotypes. This strategy of divide and rule reached its peak during the partition of India in 1947. The hasty and poorly planned division of the subcontinent into India and Pakistan led to one of the largest mass migrations in human history, accompanied by widespread violence and bloodshed. The scars of partition run deep in the Indian subcontinent. The trauma of that period continues to cast a long shadow, fueling mistrust between India and Pakistan and hindering regional cooperation. The legacy of divide and rule is evident in the ongoing tensions and conflicts in the region. The British legacy in India is a complex one. It is a cautionary tale of how colonial powers exploit existing divisions for their own gain, leaving behind a legacy of conflict and mistrust.
So all that noise, Ghana must go, Igbo must go, Yoruba must go, Edo must go, Hausa must go. We need to stop it. We need to stop all the propaganda. There are only two kinds of people, good or bad. It's not Igbo or Yoruba or Hausa or Muslims or Christians. You are either good or bad. And we good people should start fighting the bad ones. Corruption is our problem. Corruption is our problem. Thank you.
Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. About me share.